Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden rules of work and life. You know, that unspoken game that so many of us are playing, a lot of the time without even realizing it.
You know that feeling, that nagging sense that you're on a treadmill, just pushing harder and harder, but not really getting anywhere? Well, what if I told you that this whole idea of work-life balance is basically a myth, that it's not about balance at all. It's a game, and it's a game with a very specific set of rules designed to keep you playing, not necessarily to let you win.
Okay, so how does this game actually work? Well, it all starts with these external forces, these shifting goalposts that are constantly moving the finish line on us, keeping us forever in the race.
All right, here's a kind of uncomfortable truth. Society, as a whole, isn't really designed to make everyone rich. It's designed for stability. And for that to work, it needs a massive motivated workforce that's always striving for more, but never quite getting there. You see? This keeps the whole economic engine humming along, but it's also the very thing that keeps you stuck on that treadmill. And this is the loop, right? This is how you get trapped. You work hard, you hustle, you finally land that promotion, or you buy the car you've been dreaming of. And there's this brief moment of satisfaction. And then what happens? A new goal just appears out of nowhere. A bigger house, a more prestigious title. You get so busy chasing that next carrot that you never, ever stop to ask yourself, hey, do I even like carrots?
Now, what's really fascinating here is how the whole nature of control has shifted. It's not about owning factories or land anymore. The new currency is your attention. The powerful don't need to own the means of production, they just need to own a piece of your mind through the algorithms and the information you're fed.
So the chains that are holding us down today, they aren't made of iron. They're totally psychological. It's that lure of the next bonus, right? It's the fear of falling behind. And it's that incredibly powerful, deep-seated human need to be seen as successful in the eyes of everyone else. But look, this whole system wouldn't work if it was just something being done to us. No, the most effective prison is always the one we build for ourselves. And that brings us to this idea of the comfort trap, how we ourselves become our own guards in this game.
Here's a pretty chilling thought for you. The system is so clever, so well designed, that it doesn't even need guards anymore. Why? Because we've become a self-policing crowd. We are the ones who are constantly watching each other, judging each other, ranking each other based on all these outward symbols of success. We're essentially doing the system's dirty work for it.
And what are the tools we use for this? Well, here they are. These are the modern weapons of choice. Likes, views, follower counts, all these digital yardsticks. They're what dictate our sense of self-worth, and they're what keep us all marching in lockstep, all of us chasing the exact same, very narrow definition of success. And the craziest part? No force is even required. And this leads to a really interesting paradox. You see, poverty can be a powerful motivator for change. It can light a fire under you. But comfort? Oh, comfort is way more dangerous. It's like a gilded cage. It gives you just enough to lose, which makes the very idea of escaping seem way too risky. So it keeps you running on that wheel, not out of desperation, but out of fear.
And that right there, that is the absolute essence of the comfort trap. That steady paycheck, the mortgage, the insurance benefits. They're not just forms of security. They're sedatives. They numb us to the reality of the game we're in, and they make us complacent players instead of curious challengers.
Okay, so we've seen the prison, and we've met the guards, including, yep, the one staring back at us in the mirror. So the big question is, how do we break free? Well, it's time to talk about how to shift from being just a player in the game to becoming the designer of your very own. All right, if you remember only one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. As long as you are trading your time, which is finite, you can't get more of it, for money, you are playing a rigged game. The only way to actually win is to stop playing their game and start building your own. You have to build systems that create value for you, whether you're sitting at a desk or relaxing on a beach. Just think about it for a second. The people who have truly broken free, they aren't just working harder than everyone else. No way. They've built something that works for them. A product, a brand, a platform, whatever it is. They basically built the engine one time, and now that engine just runs and scales on its own, generating value that goes way, way beyond the hours they're putting in. So what does this actually look like in the real world?
It's all about shifting your mindset from being just a doer to being a builder. So instead of just performing tasks for someone else, you start creating assets. Things like a digital course that teaches a skill you've already mastered, or maybe a piece of software that solves a really specific problem, or even a thriving online community built around a passion you share with others. These are the kinds of things that can grow and generate value long, long after you've done that initial work.
So, where do you even begin with all this? Look, this isn't about some big, dramatic, I quit my job tomorrow kind of moment, not at all. The first, and honestly the most powerful step, is way quieter than that. It's just a simple, internal shift in how you see the world around you. Because true freedom, it doesn't start with some grand gesture. It starts with a quiet question. The moment you start to consciously see the rules, the moment you start to question those milestones society sets for you, the moment you finally understand the game you were never really meant to win, that is the exact moment you start taking your power back.
And really, in the end, it all just boils down to this. You don't need some grand, complicated escape plan today. You just need to see the bars of the cage for what they actually are. That awareness, that simple act of seeing, that's the key that unlocks the door. So I'll leave you with this question. What's one rule in your own life that you can start to question starting right now?